Hey everyone, and welcome back. In today's video, we're going to be doing something a little bit different, and I'm going to be photographing a cosmetic product shoot. So I'm going to be taking a few images in the comfort of my own home office, and I'm going to be showing you how you can do this with continuous light. I'm going to be having a one light setup, so it's going to be really simple, and I decided to do something a bit different with this video because I did have a few requests from some people in terms of photographing more cosmetic products and things like that. It very much goes hand in hand with beauty photography as well, so it's definitely something that I've been experimenting with for a while, and I think it'd be nice to do some more videos like this where I walk you through how I do some of my product shoots and just some really easy, simple setups that you can actually do at home. So in today's video, I'm going to be photographing some swatches, and I'm also going to be photographing a couple of products, cosmetic products themselves, in a couple of different ways. I also just want to take the opportunity now to thank iFootage for sponsoring this video today. iFootage are a lighting and camera accessories company, and they reached out to me recently to try some of their core lights and one of their newest releases. So in this video today, I'm going to be utilizing one of these lights, and I'm going to talk you through a couple of the lights that they do offer. In the Anglerfish range, they offer the SL160 BNA, the SL1 130 BNA, and their newest light, the SL1 200 BNA. The 200 BNA is going to be the light that I'll utilize with this product shoot, and I'll be showing you how it works and some of the features as well. But first, I'm just going to talk about the range as a whole. So the 60 and the 130 BNA are really great for video lighting, and primarily that's what I'd recommend using them for. The 60 BNA does have a lower wattage of 60 watts, and the 130 of course is 130 watts. So you can both really utilize them well for video. Now these lights are actually very small, and they basically fit in my hand, and I really love that they're so compact because it makes it a lot easier for if I have to travel to Sydney, which I regularly do for shoots, and I really want to take some video lights with me, or if I need to film a YouTube video, they're super easy for me to take them wherever I need to. I'm always after lighter and more compact lighting gear, so this definitely ticks that box. Now there is also the option to get a Bowens mount for these lights, which is really wonderful because it opens up a world of opportunities when it comes to purchasing accessories and other modifiers for these lights. All of these lights offer a really powerful range of light, and it's very even, which I really do like because a lot of the lights that I've had in the past and that I've used, and particularly with product shoots, have been very uneven in the lighting source, and sometimes that can really appear on camera when you're taking your photos. So that's another thing that I really do love about them. These lights are also meticulously crafted to closely mimic the spectrum of natural sunlight, which means they cover the full sunlight spectrum and are incredibly accurate. Now the 60 BNA and the 130 BNA are known as the smallest flicker-free lights in the world. They have some really cool lighting effects such as lightning and also television, so there's quite a range of effects that you can cycle through and try out for yourself. There's also a great control of color temperature, and you can really play around with this in your shoots, really going for a warmer effect if you need it, or even a cooler effect, but I really like the range that it has there. And there's also multiple power solutions for the 60 BNA and the 130 BNA. You'll have the main supply and the V-mount battery, but there's also the Type-C power supply or 970 battery pack. Now these lights are also very quiet and cool, which is another thing that I really do love because in my office room, it's actually upstairs and it can get quite hot in here, and the worst thing is having hot lights. So these lights actually keep pretty cool, and they're extremely quiet, so when I'm filming videos or if I'm taking any video clips, they're nice and quiet, which is also another really great factor. But as I mentioned, we'll be utilizing the 200 BNA, which is the newest light release, and this light is so powerful. So it has many similar features to the other two lights that I just spoke about, but this light is a lot more powerful, and it's going to be more powerful for photography, which is why I'm going to be utilizing it today on our product shoot. Now I really do love using continuous light for product photography in particular because you can see how the light falls and how it's really going to look in real time. I really love seeing those effects of the light in real time, and this goes for beauty shoots as well. I don't always have the opportunity to shoot with continuous lights on beauty shoots, but I really do like playing around, especially in my home studio, with continuous light and product photography. So in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how you can utilize continuous lights in a product shoot, and we're going to get creative. So we're going to do some cosmetic art and some swatches and just kind of play around just in my home office, and I'll show you the whole setup of what I'm using for each shot. Now for all of these shots, I'm going to be using just the singular one light, which is the 200 BNA, and I'm going to be kind of recreating a hard sun sunlight effect because I really love that effect with product photography, and it's very, very popular amongst cosmetic product photography these days. So I think it's time to get creative now, and let's get straight into it. So guys, as you can see, we're in my office today, and I'm going to be doing all of the setup and all of the photography in this room. So I really wanted to show you that you can do this in the comfort of your own home, and if you've got a small space at home that you can utilize for a setup like this, then it will work perfectly fine. So behind me, I've got the SL1200 BNA, and this is the light we're going to focus on using today for this photography shoot. This is because the wattage and the power behind it is more suitable for photography. The other lights that I was showing before can definitely be used for photography as well, but they definitely are more suited to video as they do have a slightly lower wattage. So now that we've got this light set up, I'm actually going to show you some of the tools we'll be using today for this product shoot and kind of go through a couple of the shots that we're going to try and get. I also just want to apologize for the audio today because I can't find my shotgun mic anywhere, so unfortunately if you could just bear with me for today, that'd be amazing. But as I said, now we're going to move on to some of the tools and props that we'll be using today. So I'm just going to go through a couple of the objects that I've got today and explain to you what I've got here on my shelf. Now, first off, we've got our tools, and this is a really important factor for cosmetic product photography as you'll realistically need quite a number of them to get the right kind of effect with the products. So I actually have some pretty cheap products here. I have not spent a lot on anything that I'm going to show you today. It is all very reasonable stuff or old things that I've just had laying around. So I've had these nail files for a while now. They're just a really cheap packet from a local supermarket, and they actually work really good as like a little spatula to help create those swatches that you see in a lot of cosmetic art. So that's what we're going to probably use those for today. I've also got another spatula just here, and this is really good for sort of carving into any products like lipsticks and things like that as well. We also have a set of brushes here. Now, some of them are smaller, some of them are larger, depending on the kinds of swatches that I'll try and create, or depending on the type of artistic element that I'm aiming for. So that's the main tools that we're going to be using today. And then I actually have a bunch of these really old products. They're empty, and I just held on to them for product shoots in future if I felt like doing a shoot with either of these. I've got quite a few products like that here that are just old empty packaging, and they just work really well for a lot of the product shoots that I do. So I held on to those, and we may not use everything that's over here at the moment, but I just wanted to go through a couple of the products and show you what I generally use in these types of shoots. We've also got these kind of heavy containers that I actually use as pillars to stand the products on and to kind of create a bit of level and height with the image. We'll likely be using these today. And then I've also got some decorative things, like I've got some sand here, which we'll probably give a go, and also some decorative salt stones, which also I just got from my local Kmart. All of this is pretty much from Kmart. So this is really good stuff to use in cosmetic art, and you can have a lot of fun with it. As I mentioned, there's also a lot of old products here, so you'll see like there's a lot of eyeshadow palettes and old lip glosses and things like that that I do not use anymore, but they are perfect for cosmetic art. And I also just pick up really cheap ones when I see them, just to know that I can kind of carve into them and do whatever I want with them in any particular shoot. So those are the main products today. And of course, we now have our light set up here too. I've raised this fairly high above the backdrop. We're going to start with a flat lay, and we're going to start with some swatches. I'll also be altering the power of the light as we go along with our shoot, depending on what I need for any particular shot. I've just tilted the camera down so you can actually see what we've got here on the backdrop. So you can see this is my backdrop roll that I've just laid flat across a small table. And we also have a sheet of, I guess you could call it like a plexiglass. It's not quite plexiglass, and it is an old piece, so there are some dirty marks. I apologize about that. But I tend to use this as a base for any swatching. So obviously any of the liquid or any of the cosmetic product doesn't get directly on the backdrop and ruin it. So it's just a way to retain the quality of the backdrop roll and not force me to continuously cut it up. I can just use this and easily give it a wipe as well if I make any mistakes. So now I'm going to get started with the first shot, which is going to be some swatches. And I'm just going to play around with some of the products until I find something that I really like. So this is currently some of the inspiration that we're looking at. Some of it is product photography and some of it is cosmetic art as well. So we're just going to play around with a couple of elements today and see what we can come up with. I'm really wanting to do something initially that is like this image here, which is a little bit more like a swatch style. So something a little bit more basic, and then moving on to something with a stand and doing something with a product potentially, and then maybe doing something that's really simple again, just like this one here. or even something like this. But we'll see what we come up with, and I always like to experiment with this kind of thing. So as I mentioned as well, we are replicating hard sunlight at the moment. So this is why the light is at an angle and it's pointing down. However, I may need to maneuver this, and you'll probably see this in the behind the scenes as I go along to see where it's best positioned once I've got the product on here. But enough talking for now, and let's get started. As I mentioned, for the first shot, I was aiming to do a swatch style photograph, and these can actually be a little bit more difficult than you might think. A lot of the effort for the shot is really done in the preparation, not so much in actually taking the photograph. And unfortunately, these tend to be really fiddly shots, and you may need to be tweaking things a lot, as I currently am, using tissues, cotton buds, and my spatula. So it's really quite a finicky process to get a really good swatch, and sometimes it might take you a little bit of time to do that. As you can see, I've got my light raised high and angled down. I want to replicate that hard sunlight across it, and I want kind of a crisp shadow with it too. So I am trying to also avoid any reflections, so that's why I am moving around quite a bit because of the glass underneath. For this next shot, I have removed the plexiglass this time, and we're going to be using the bare backdrop, and I'm actually going to be using a bit of sand and using a product to lay on top of it. So it's going to be more of another flat lay shot, and then we'll move on to using some of the pillars. I've also adjusted the light so it's much higher up and pointing directly down. I really want to have that sunlight effect, the hard sunlight effect that we had before, but usually I have to maneuver this a little bit more with the glass because there can be reflections. So in the previous shoot, I was having to move that quite a bit. But now we're actually going to be moving on, and let's get into it. For this shot, I really wanted to experiment with the sand and create some different shapes underneath the bottle and just kind of have a bit of fun with it. I ended up taking a couple of different shots for the final shots and just pushed the sand around into a few different shapes so I could get a bit of variety with it. Then for this last shot, I experimented with using the pillars to help prop the product on top and really give it a little bit of height and variation with that. I strayed away from doing a flat lay here and wanted to have the sunlight even stronger, so I actually removed the modifier, and this helped to create a very nice crisp and clean shadow. So if you're really finding that you want that crisper shadow, that's a great way to do that. Now for these shots, I'm actually just using the product itself to create some little shapes, just some little circles on the glass again, and I was doing more of a flat lay image here. I wanted to kind of experiment with this and again, just have some fun. I think that's the best thing about product photography is that you can really incorporate so many different shapes and styles into what you're doing, and that's what I really wanted to achieve with these shots. Thank you guys so much for watching this video today, and I really hope that you enjoyed it and you enjoyed this kind of format of content. Let me know if you'd like to see more like this on my channel. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, make sure that you do, because I'll be posting more content like this in future. And if you are interested in any of the lights that I've mentioned today, the 200 BNA, the 60 BNA, or the 130 BNA, definitely follow the link in the description box below to go and check those out. I also just wanted to say another big thank you to iFootage for sponsoring this video, and I really enjoyed using all of these lights and really testing to see what I could come up with, especially with product photography, and I'll definitely be incorporating continuous light into a lot of my future product sessions. But thank you all so much for watching this video again, and I'll see you in the next one.